Hi all, welcome back to Node.js tutorial course. I hope you all have watched my previous session which explains about different concepts of Node.js and its live coding example. If not, I have given links in the description box. Please do watch. Today I'm here to explain you all about Package.json, Package-lock.json, and what are the different features available and what's the usage of this JSON file. And also we'll be showing the live example on how it works and how to use them. So now let's see what is this package.json. Okay, so if you had worked or if you are well versed with JavaScript or you have interacted with any of the JavaScript based project or could be a Node.js or maybe any front-end projects which is related to the Node.js, you might be heard about this term called package.json file, right? So we need to understand what is this for, right? And why, what is that you should know about it, and what are the some cool things about this JSON file. Okay, so basically this package.json is nothing but it's a kind of manifest for your project. Like it can do a lot of things which is unrelated. Okay, so basically what I meant here, the manifest is what is that your project requires, or what is that has the project dependency, right? So those all will be listed down in the package.json file. The second feature which I can say is central repository of configuration for tools, right? So basically this will as I told, it will list all the required things for your project. So it will be a central place for to look for if you are new to this project and if you want to know what are the things is going on within this project in terms of modules, you can just come into the package.json and just go through it and see, have a glance on it. Okay, and the third thing is it can store the names and versions of all the installed packages, right? That is the main feature of this package.json. So let's now see what is that going inside the package.json, right? Basically, what is that file structure this has to follow? So when you create a brand new project, right, the package.json usually it is going to be empty, right? So there's no fixed requirement like what should be the package.json should contain, right, for an application. So only requirement is that it should be in a JSON format. Otherwise, it cannot read a program that try to access its properties programmatically. Okay, so that is about the high level thing. What is that file structure should be? It should be basically on the JSON format. So here in this packet.json, we have certain properties which I will just show what all things will be a part of the packet.json. Okay, so the first one is author list. So basically every application or every module have a author, right, who has contributed, who has invented that particular module, right? So that has to go to any of the packages, right? So this author list or author property will allow us to give the package author name. The second one is name. Okay, the name is nothing but what is your package about, or maybe what is your application about. Like, for example, if I have a hello world application, right, my name will be hello world. Okay, so that would be the name. Okay, contributors list. So basically, author will be there, right? But contributors, it could be a more than one or two person, one or more contributors, right? So in a project, it may be a different set of contributors will be involved to develop that package or application. So the contributor list will be the list of the contributors of that project. Okay, so what is this bug? So there is a section called bugs. So for example, if you have any issues in your, what is that, in your application or your package, right, there this section will let you provide the issue tracker or a link for that bugs so that it will be traceable for your project. Then next one is home page, which actually sets the package home page. Okay. And next we have version property, which actually indicates what is the current version of my application or my package. And the next one is license, which indicates what's the license of the package. Is it MIT or whatever the license you have, right? You can mention under this license property. And next is keywords. So basically it contains array of keywords, which is reference to your projects or a package, right? For example, if my application is related to some specific domain, then I'll give those domain keywords into this keyword section. Next is description. Description, as the name says, it just gives the introduction or the description or a brief description of your application or a package. Repository, this is nothing but it indicates a package repository. Where is it going to stay? And main, which actually sets the entry point for the application, right? What would be the starting point? Like, is it going to be a index or anything, right? So that is what the main is going to uh, mention. Like, for example, if my starting page is app.js, then I have to just mention app.js, right? That would be the starting point for my application. Okay. Next comes is so private, so basically if you set this value to true, actually whenever you by mistake if you publish it over npm, then it will prevent, like it won't let you publish accidentally. So private will be always set to true. Next is a script, which actually defines a set of node.js scripts you can run. Basically, if you want to run, so you don't want to hard run everything from your command prompt. Instead, you want just give a big line of script in your package.json, and you can just call a small piece of script name to run that in your command prompt. So I'll explain all this in detail in the later sections. So next is dependencies. So basically, as the name says, these are the list of npm packages which is installed as a dependency. And dev dependencies, it's again the list of npm packages which are dependent for the development. Okay. Next is engines, which versions of Node.js this package or app works on. So this is basically the property which we have to use. And the browser list is used to tell which browser you want to support. Like, is it a Google or is it a, what is it, IE, right? So any version what you want to mention, you can just specify in this browser list. So these are this list of properties which are actually available in this package.json, which you can utilize whenever you create your project or an application or a package. So next, let's see what is this command specific properties in package.json. Okay, so it actually the package.json file can actually host command specific configurations, like for example for babel or ESLint, etc. Okay, so each has its own specific properties. Like for example, if you take ESLint, like we will have ESLint config, and for babel we'll have babel, and so on. So this both are command specific, and you can find how to use them in the respective command or project documentation. Okay. So let me walk you guys through on this packet.json, like what all fields are available and what is the file structure and what is that, how does that each properties looks like in the packet.json. Okay, so in this live coding section, I'm going to describe you guys all the properties uh, which we have explained in the previous slide. Okay, so so here, so first, whenever the application has been created, right? The initially the packet.json will be empty. So in my coding structure, you guys can see there's a packet.json which has a um, empty content, right? Which is just with the flower bracket, right? So let's first start with a name property. Okay, how to put the name for the package. So as I told, the package.json should be in a JSON structure. So the name works this way. Okay, so you just give name and then followed with hello world. Okay, so this is how the matches. Okay, so here in when you give the name, right, so name has kind of some kind of limitations, like it should be less than 214 characters and must not have spaces, and it can only contain lowercase letters, hyphens, underscores. Okay, so if you see here, it is giving some error, right? uh, why? Because it has a uppercase letter, right? So let me remove this. Yes, it's key. See that the error have gone. So basically, you guys have to consider like few points when you give a name. It should not go beyond 214 characters. It should not have any spaces. It can have only lowercase letter, and there should be only hyphens or underscore special character. Okay, so why this is a constraint? Because this is because when a package is published on npm, right, it gets its own url based on this property. Okay, so that is a reason they have this kind of constraint for the name. Okay, next let's see what is this author. So author, as I told you, it is a list, it lists the package author name. Okay, so let me add a author name here. Okay, so author followed with colon and give whatever the name you want to give. Okay, so here I can just give test author. Okay, so this is one way of giving the author. So author can be also an object, right? The author, a person, can have name, email, or maybe their reference URL, right? We can also give the author in a, again, an object format, right? So basically it will have, author will have a name. Okay, so it's going to be test author. Okay, then we'll have email, where we'll have test.author@gmail.com. Okay, then assume author has some reference links of that author, right? Then you can give like https colon test author.com. Okay, this is another way of giving the author values. It could be directly the author details, or if you want to give it in a object way, you can give it in a this way as well. Okay, this is how the author property works. Okay, next let's see how these contributors will be added, right? So as well as the author, the project can have one or more contributors. So this property is an array that lists those contributors. Okay, so contributors also can be created in the same way as authors in a two different ways. Directly you can assign, or you can also um, create as an object. So if you want as a direct, right, you can just give this way test contributor, and this is an array, so you can just give another set like test one contributor. Okay, this is one of giving the contributors. So if this doesn't look good, or if you want have a given again a set of details of the or contributors like name, email, URL, then you can follow the same approach what I did for author, right? So as an object, so first it will be array because it's an array of objects. right? So we'll have one object same as how we had for author. Okay, let me just copy this and then paste it here, and you guys can see this. So I'll give test contributor 1. Okay, so this is how the contributor thing works. So if I have to add another contributor, then I'm going to give this way, and I'm going to change this to 2, 2, and 2. Okay, this is how you can provide the more than one contributors under the package.json. Next, let's see how we can provide the bugs, right? So bugs is nothing but whatever issue you have within your project, you can just provide that reference link here. Okay, so this will have bugs. Okay, and then you just place the issue tracker link, like example https followed with issuetracker.com / with some issue id. Okay, this is how you can give the bugs list. Okay, this will actually help, like assume if somebody comes new to this project or a package, if they want to see what is that relevant details of this project in terms of bugs or whatever it is, right, they can just come to this package.json and refer everything. Okay, next let's see what is this home page, sorry. So this home page which will actually sets the package homepage, right? If you have any like homepage for your package, then you can give like https followed with my package.com / package. Okay, this way you can give the homepage attribute for your package. Okay, next is version. This, as I told, this gives you what's your package version. So when we start, we can just give 1.0.0, whereas when you do keep on changing something to your application, then you can just keep changing this version just to ensure it is up to date. Correct? Okay, so here again, this will follow the semantic versioning, which will have three different, which is like the first is major, the second is minor, and the third is a patch version. Okay, next property is license. Okay, so this will again, you can just mention what is your license of the package, MIT or etc. Okay, next is keywords. So keywords actually is an array of keywords that associate with your package, right? So for example, if my package is related to some kind of like AI or machine learning, right? So I can just give some keywords like email, or I can give AI, or I can give ML, right? This way I can just give the different set of keywords to our package, which will actually help people to find your package while navigating with these keywords or while browsing in the Google, or it could be in a NPM repository. Okay, next I'll show you about the description. So this is nothing but which gives you which will have to mention what is your project about. Like I can mention the package, we can mention hello world package example. Okay, this is just a simple description of your application. Okay, the next one is repository. So this repository is again where is your package located, right? It could be within GitLab or GitHub or Bitbucket. So where is your code or the package is residing? right? So you can directly give it. There are two different ways of giving this, again similar to author and contributor. You can directly give like GitHub URL, or it could be in Bitbucket URL, right? This is one way of giving it. Okay, so and also if you have any version control system and you want to mention explicitly what is that version control system, then we have a option to mention this as again as a another object, right? So we can mention something like this, where we can just give what's the type of my control system, version control system. Is it Git or SVN, or right? That way we can give. And what is the URL of my, sorry, of my sorry. So here I'll give GitHub URL. Okay. So this is about the repository. The next one we'll see what is this uh, main, right? As I told, main will let you provide the starting or entry point of for your package, right? When you import this package in an application, that's where the application will search for the exports, correct? So if my starting point is app.js, then you just have to provide this in your under main section. Okay, so we have private. The next property is private. It could be either true or false. If you set it false, which means if you accidentally publish, it just goes and publish with the npm. If you set it true, which means it will prevent from publishing accidentally to the npm. Okay, next is scripts. So here again, this is this as I explained, if you want to run some complex scripts um, in your code, or in the sense when you before you run the command prompt, right, you can use a script section to use that. Okay, for example, usually when to start any of the any of your Node.js application, you usually do this npm run dev, right, or npm start, right? So what we can do is, if you want to run something very explicitly, right, then I give a script name like this, followed with what is your script has to do, right? Maybe npm run dev, right? Or it could be, if it is a different application, we have ngserve, right? And what we can do is, from your command prompt, you can just call this start script command, which will actually execute this ngserve or whatever the script you have mentioned inside the start command. Okay, the scripts are command line application. You can run them by calling npm run and followed with your script name, script command name. Like here, if you see, I have given the name as start. So if I run npm run and then start, then it should execute ngserve. Okay. Next is dependencies. So we have, okay, so this is basically a list of uh, the dependency for your project. Okay, what all has been installed for your project. So this will be again an array of list of items. So assume you have some module has been installed, then this, assume this is a dependency you have, then version of that dependency will be mentioned here. Okay, same way it goes with the dev dependency. So it's again as a list of packages, and assume the same way it goes. If you have any dependencies like this, you just mentions inside the dev dependency. Okay. Okay, the next one is engines. So engines is nothing but what's the version of Node.js and other commands the package or the application is working on, right? So assume we are using Node, correct? So the Node value, what is the version of my Node, right? Is it 6, or what is the version, right? So if I just mention like this with 6.6 dot, so okay, or it could be different thing like npm. What is the version of npm, right? So is it greater than equal to 3.0.0, right? This is how the engines can be specified for our application. The last one is browser list. As I told, this will give you the list of supported browser for your application. So this will be an array of list. Okay, so assume if you don't want to have this browser supported for your IE less than, or if your code is not supported for IE which is less than or equal to 8, right? You can just mention like uh, not, okay, IE then less than or equal to 8. So this is how you mention. Okay, the this particular browser list will help the you developers or whoever is using this to know what is a supported browsers it can uh, do, right? So this is all about the file structure of the package.json. So let me explain what is this package-lock.json, right? So basically in npm version 5, right? The npm introduced this package-lock.json 5. Okay, so basically, as I told in the previous lessons, you guys would have been familiar now with what is package.json, right? And here the package.lock.json, the main purpose, the goal of this is to keep track of the exact version of every package that is installed, so that a application or package or the application is 100% reproducible in the same way, even if packages are updated by their maintainers. Okay, that is the main goal of package.lock.json. Okay, so basically here what we can say is it actually sets your currently installed version of each package in store, so that if any other people are going to use your application, it works as expected as in your system as well as in their system. Okay, so so usually what happens is when you commit your code to your Git or Bitbucket, we usually don't commit the node modules, which is not, it's a good practice, correct? Because it's of huge thing and all, right? So when you try to replicate the project on another machine by using this npm install command, right? Then what happens is there will be different set of modules will be installed based on the patch release or the minor release, right? We will not get exact version of your node modules on the daily basis, right? So your original project and newly initialized project are actually different in this scenario, right? That is where this packet.lock.json sets your currently installed version of each package in stone, so that we have these exact versions maintained. Okay, and basically this package-lock.json needs to be committed to your Git repository, so it can be fetched by other people if other people or the project is public, or you have the collaborators, or if you use a Git as a source for the deployment. Okay, this is the intention or the goal of the package-lock.json. So here in this section, on the next section, I'm going to show you the structure of the package lock.json and how what is that actually looks like, right? Okay, so now you can see there is no package lock.json. I have actually deleted it just to show a demo like how this package-lock.json is going to create. Okay, so let me just install npm I express. Okay, okay, so that is got installed, and you can see the package-lock.json has been generated here, right? So here if you see in this example, right, whenever we run the express, we get to see that log.json is getting installed, right? So here if you see, there is lots of dependencies for this express framework, correct? So if you see here, these are the assets, array flatten, body parser. So this will give you the exact version which needs to be used in the project. And this particular log.json uh, actually gives all the dependency modules and its version which is currently installed in your project. And if you commit this log.json into your Git repo, then the same has to be cloned by the developers. And when they do a npm I, right, there will be a lookup on this to install the same dependency version so that both the developers' system are in sync. Okay, so they are actually added in alphabetical order into the file, and each one has its version field, result field that points to the package location and integrity string. Okay, this is how the package log.json works. Now let's see what is npx for this node package runner, right? Basically, this is very powerful command that has been introduced in version 5.2. Okay, and it will let you run code which is built with Node.js and published to the npm registry. Okay, so assume if you don't want to install npm, and then you can install npx as a standalone package. Sure. Okay, that is the main usage of npx. Let's see now how or what all things are available in npx in a live coding session. Okay, so now let's see some of the usage of NPX. Okay, so as I told, it's a tool which is intended to help around the experience of using packages from NPM registry. Okay, the same way NPM makes it super easy to install and manage the dependency hosted on the registry, right? The same way NPX makes it easy to use the CLI tools and other executable hosted on the registry. Okay, so now let's see how locally installed, like using locally installed tools without doing a npm run script. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is I'm going to install one of the package called COWSAY, okay. Okay, I am just installing this. Okay, now I will use npx to execute or use this package from my CLI tool. Okay, so npx say then hello world. Okay, let me press enter. So you guys can see the say package has been executed, which is the one actually locally installed tool. And without running the npm run script, we have run the say uh, package in the CLI tool, right? Okay, there is one example, and there's another example like where you can run command with different Node.js version. Okay, so let me show npx then node at the rate 6 and hyphen version. Okay, so here what happens is, if you what does it actually do, right? Npx node at the rate 6 hyphen v is basically, it's running that node version, that particular version, and it's trying to get the version. If you see the npx has a one of the feature, like in case of that version or the package is not available, it will prompt you for the installation, and once installation is done, it is going to run that package or the module. Okay, so right now, since I don't want to install anything, let me just give n. Okay, fine. This is the another example for the npx. And the next one is how you can develop a npm run script interactively, right? So basically, a lot of npm users, right, taken advantages of this run script module, right? Which will actually help us to execute lots of script, a large script, which is mentioned in the thing, correct? So this is how one of the another feature for npm run script. Okay, so these are the main features of this npx, and I will have another detailed session on this, which explains a lot more features separately on this npx. So now we all have a good idea about Node.js Package.json, its features, its lock.json, and how to use it, and how it works, and how to use it in a live coding with the majorly used examples, right? So in the next session, I will be explaining about Node.js web server and its different features, and also will create a web server and show how it works. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like my session, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. See you in next session. Thank you.